Well, welcome everyone to part of our series at the Arizona Town Hall on cross-border connecting. And this is a really special program. We've had a lot of programs already dealing with economic vibrancy, panel discussions with mayors from both Mexico and Arizona, or the Mexican consuls, some really policy deep kind of conversations. There is perhaps no better way than to connect than with food. And so we are very excited to bring this special program to all of you today. And I know I, for one, am going to be cooking along with the program, so I might turn my video off so that you don't watch me frying bacon, but who knows, I might turn it back on too. But I welcome you to join us. I'm so excited that we have this wonderful guest who's going to give us this great interactive experience to learn a little bit more about Sonoran cuisine. And I want to also thank our sponsors, specifically Jennings, Strouss, and Salmon, who's really helped us a lot with not only putting on these programs, but promoting them. And the person who's been at the key for that at Jennings Strouss has been Patrick Welch, who's going to be the one helping to facilitate our incredible guest presenter today. So without further ado, let me turn it over to the real chefs in the kitchen. Patrick, you can take it from here and introduce our special guest.
Thank you, Tara. Well, Foodie Nation, I was promoting it as Foodie Nation, foodies, so welcome. First of all, I'm so excited to be here with Maria, my new friend. We've been massaging, and that's a term of art in the culinary industry, kind of internship.
A fancy word.
A fancy word, French fancy word for internship. So I've been really grateful for the welcome, and my kids are here with me as well today. So we're really excited. We're in Boca Taco and Tequila here in Tucson. We are very excited. Chef Maria Mazon is here to help us create a signature dish at her restaurant that connects Arizona and Sonora. It's the taco dog. For those of you who are on the line, if you've been to Sonora before, the Sonoran hot dog is a famous late night snack. The one I go to is off Gomez Farias in Hermosillo, next to a church. The guy's out there with his cart. It's exciting, the smells, everything that's going on. And so this is Maria's kind of interpretation of that and bringing American Arizonan culture together with Sonoran culture. So it's an exciting day for us. I want to thank my firm, Jennings, Strouss, and Salmon, for being such loyal sponsors of the town hall. Many of you know I am now a town hall junkie, and I'm very proud of that. I wear that badge of honor with distinction. It's a phenomenal organization, and they're doing great stuff, and particularly with the Arizona-Mexico stuff that we've been doing for the last 4 or 5 years now. It's been really, really exciting. And this is kind of a lighter one, which I'm really excited about, because a lot of things that we're looking at a lot on these conversations are kind of politics, economics, industry. Heavy, right? No. So these are ones that I think are it's a lighter fare, but it's just as important. Art and culture connect us just as much as a border, just as much as a road, or as the political and economic connections that we have. So let's get right into it. Oh, by the way, top of the hour, we got to talk about this. Maria has donated generously 2 $25 gift certificates. So there'll be a raffle at the end. If you're on now and you stay through the end, your name is pulled. You will have the opportunity to come and dine with Maria and enjoy some really good food and terrific tequilas, bacanuras, mezcals, whatever you'd like, Mexican beers, Mexican sodas, like my kids are enjoying right now. But Maria, let's talk about kind of the inspiration for Boca. You talk about on the website how it's about melding cultures, melding flavors. Tell us about it.
Well, hi everybody. I'm Maria Mazon. I was born here in Tucson, Arizona, and I was raised in Navojoa, Sonora. So Navojoa is the last city of the state of Sonora. For you people from Sonora, you know. So Sonora and Arizona are my hometowns. They're not, I don't even call them countries. They're my hometowns. And for me, when I opened Boca almost 11 years ago, I named it Boca because in Navojoa we have a beach, small beach. It's called Las Bocas, mouth, plural. Y dije, ¿por qué no? Pay an homage to my hometown, to my roots. And the Sonoran hot dog is any Sonorense is our presentation card. It's like, here it is. That's the first thing you take a gringo to
Gringuito?
to eat a hot dog. So the funny thing is that I didn't go to culinary school y aprendí a picar tomate, cebolla del hot dogero de la esquina de la casa de mis papás. So I used to walk there. I was 14, 15, almost your daughter's age. And I used to look at them and just watch them dice and do everything. So this is it. I sell tacos here in Boca Tacos because any Mexicano, like when you introduce yourself, again, the presentation card is a taco, and I try to elevate that and bring bacanoras and everything that represents Sonora. So
It's like the vessel, the delivery.
Yes.
I love it.
And I didn't want to, I'm not a good baker. I'm not Don Guerra. So I didn't want to mess a bread up. So why not grab it into tortillas? And that's what we're going to do today.
Awesome. So tell me a little bit about,
I'm going to start with this.
there's certain triggers, right? You know, I go to Sonora, and one of the biggest things that triggers memories and things is sense of smell, sense of taste. And, you know, I talked about this with Tara Jackson on the ride down to Sonora. You get over the border, and all of a sudden it's like you smell mesquite, and it brings me back to the backyard, the tacos.
You're gonna make me cry.
So tell me about those types of things. Tell me those connections that you have.
It's this particular dish, this one on hot dog, the bacon, the onions. It literally makes me relive me being 12 years old, walking to the corner and grabbing the feria, the change for my mom's purse, and just telling her, not asking her, I'm gonna go get hot dogs. Yeah. And the smell can the smell can take you to your back, to your hometown.
Transports you.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter if you're from India and you're smelling Indian herbs and stuff like that, it will transport you. And I always said it, and I say it again, comida, it's what humans we have in common. It doesn't matter politics, religion, sexual orientation. You will share a food, and you can actually, worse can be solved over food. So the smells is everything. Carbón, el carbón.
Uf. Increíble, ¿no?
So the bacon it's everything. The hot dog bacon.
Tell her a bit about the ingredients. So we start off with a little bit of oil in the pan.
A little bit of oil, and then you're gonna want to get the hot dog super crisp. Es que sea muy crunchy, ¿no? O sea, porque vas a tener el pan, que el pan, ahorita vamos a usar pan, pero el pan es muy suave, las tortillas también. Entonces quieres tú que el tocino y el hot dog estén super crunchy, and then you can add all the ingredients.
The toppings.
Yeah, and it's very important. He was asking me what kind of hot dogs and you this, whatever floats your boat, kids. You can do even vegetarian hot dogs now that they do a lot of vegan.
Nothing but meat, or what they call those things.
Beyond meat. Entonces, no importa, los frijoles son vegetarianos y le puedes poner lo que quieras. The key of the Sonoran hot dog is the bread, I know, but if you don't feel like baking, it's a cousin of the bacon if you're not gonna eat bacon, or bacon.
And what's that bread that they use in Mexico for those hot dogs?
The hot dog,
is it the bonillo roll or?
No, it's a pan para hot dog.
Okay.
So it's harina, levadura, azúcar.
And that's it.
That's it. And salt, a pinch of salt.
And it's kind of like when you make pizza dough.
Yes.
The water is everything, right?
Yes.
And the environment that you're in.
Yes.
Creates because that bread in Mexico for the Mexican hot dog, or the tortillas.
The tortilla
is just incredible. It just has a different texture, a different flavor. You can't get it everywhere.
And then, and then when you go to a hot dog place, right, the hot dog cart, they have all the toppings, no? Jalapeño, queso,
Chile
bonito. Aquí en Boca, we do salsa.
Salsa, which you're known for.
Yes.
So tell me about that.
The salsas, it's what's going to take you to another level. I always said, if people cannot travel, why not take them to Japan or India or Mexico through a salsa? So if you're eating a taco and I have a Thai salsa with basil and ginger and Thai chilies, you're merging two cultures together with respect.
That infusion.
But it's always respecting every culture. don't get too crazy, because I always say, less is more.
Keep it simple.
Yes. So see that beauty.
Look at that beautiful crunchiness right here. Let's get the camera on there. And tell people why you're using chopsticks.
They're not chopsticks.
What is it?
They're
A tongue, little tongue. Tell them about
They're
it.
too fancy. Look.
Look at it. It's great. Easy, but it's very easy to move
It's
things
very
with.
easy, and it beats the
clunkier big ones.
big ones, and actually, it's less noise.
I hear you.
So we're gonna do that.
Particularly if you're cooking in front of people, you don't want that much noise. You want to have,
Yeah.
you want to enjoy the meal. So tell everybody about kind of how you got into cooking. I mean, you talked about your story about going out and, looking how they were chopping the tomatoes. What was your first experience with cooking? Who was your inspiration?
Well, I became a chef by accident.
Okay.
I opened my own catering company, and I started waiting tables on a restaurant on the foothills.
Okay.
And I always said, if you ask Maria 11 years ago, I always say Mexican food is not yellow cheese and not sour cream. I used to get pissed off.
Yep.
Now I understand that's their version, but this is mine. I grew up in Mexico. I know what Mexicanos Sonorenses we eat. We don't need with yellow cheese. We don't need with sour cream. But I have to learn how to respect the people that do. I have to understand that Sonora, Arizona was Mexico once. So merging those things together, and that's how now the enchilada style and all that came about. But that's how I manage, and I opened my own catering company. I opened Boca, like I said, 11 years ago. And once I started cooking, I fell in love with it. So
It's passion.
it's one of the best, most beautiful mistakes I've ever done in my life.
Well, you were sharing about the fact that, I love to cook as well. I mean, it's one of my passions as well. Unfortunately, I'm not in the kitchen all the time as a professional. I'd love to be, but being on the line, the sweat headaches you get, the tired feet, the camaraderie in the kitchen, there's something to be said for that. I mean, it's a phenomenal experience. Can you share about that?
It's funny because I don't have girls in my kitchen. Diana, Dee, and me. And I've never had the luck to, it's just, I call them my boys, my kids.
Yeah.
The heat, it's funny. I just got my first IV. I got dehydrated a couple of days ago. It's brutal. And now with the mask, oh my Lord. But it's one of those things that I always say, if you want to be a chef, it's not about the money. It's not about the fancy Zoom things or the signing. It's about the passion. It's what you put on the food.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if it's from a humble hot dog to a piece of foie gras with caviar. It doesn't matter. You have to do it with respect. And as soon as you do it with respect for the food and love, it's going to taste.
Yeah.
So.
Speaking of masking up, you may be wondering why Maria and I are not masked up, but both of us have gotten our double vax.
Oh, yeah.
So we felt comfortable enough today. If you haven't gotten your vaccinations or you're thinking about
do.
it, go out and get it. We want to have more restaurant experiences. Restaurants in Arizona are open for business, which is really important. They're still doing social distancing guidelines here at Boca, which is great.
I am, and I ask my kids to get vaccinated. Of course, I cannot force them, it's up to them, but I think 80% of my team is vaccinated at this point. We still follow social distancing. I still haven't got all the tables inside out of respect. And outside, everybody on my team wears a mask, we wear gloves, still getting the restaurant disinfected. Got Purell coming out of every corner, and just doing our part, man, because COVID is apparently here to stay. And we don't want another 2020.
No, not at all.
No.
So tell me we've talked a lot about the fact that we changed out the Mexican hot dog roll for the tortillas. What are some of the other Mexican techniques that you have with this preparation, and how are you mixing those with, an Arizonan technique or an American technique?
The American technique is pretty much there's none and there's no Mexican. That's the taco. That's going to bring both cultures together. The bread, honestly, it was pure laziness because I didn't want to kill people with bread. I have enough on my plate as is. But it's typical. You can do the beans.
And what type of beans are we going to be looking at?
We do pinto beans.
Okay.
I cook them with guajillo, cilantro, cebolla, chile verde, sal, y ajo.
Tell everybody who doesn't know what
Okay.
guajillo is.
So guajillo is a dry, I call it the cousin of the chile verde, but it's a dry red chili. It's not spicy, but it does give that sense of smokiness, that sense of grill.
Yep.
I always say a sense of carbon. You can get super creative and you can make Indian beans. You can add cardamom, you can add ginger, you can add everything and have that sense of other cultures to one simple taco.
So open up your spice rack
Yeah.
and play with it. Have fun with it, right?
I mean, it's one of those things that I always say, yeah, follow a recipe. I've never followed a recipe in a day in my life because I'm not afraid to taste. You have to taste your food. You have to season your food. Like my onions were seasoned like in the bowl, and I put them here with just because we're doing this, and with a little bit of salt and garlic powder, a little bit of pepper. You have to season your food. Do not wait like for the beans. Do not wait till the end. You have to start.
Season up front.
Yeah, up front, medium, and end. Medium is when you're checking your frijoles and you have to smell them. The smell will tell you everything.
So tell me about the onions, because everybody has an ingredient list, but for those who didn't pick up the ingredients, what kind of onions are we using?
I use yellow onions, but you can use white onions, you can use purple onions,
Vidalia, whatever you want.
whatever.
And whatever you have in the kitchen. And then what's the chop on that? Just a rough chop? What
It's
do
a julienne.
Okay.
You can chop them, you can dice them. It's one of those things. Being in the kitchen does not have to restrain because, oh, I don't know how to
There's
chop.
no rules.
No.
Right? Be creative, flexible.
The fun part of cooking is to bring your family together, share a recipe, I mean, literally we're breaking borders.
We got people from probably all over the world on here.
So it's one of those things that the world is crazy as is. You said it before. You guys have talked about politics, border. No, cooking has not to be that. Cooking is supposed to be relaxing, breaking bread with your loved ones, open a beer, macanona.
And that happens a lot down in Sonora. I mean, I'm married to a Mexican. I go to Sonora a lot. I mean, the carne asada in the backyard. I mean, tell me about some of the experiences you have.
Carne asada can reunite families, solve wars, solve politics, everything. Carne asada is an excuse to get together.
Exactly.
So I always say, una carnita asada if you're sad, una carnita asada estás triste,
You're happy.
celebrando un cumpleaños, lo que sea. Entonces, la carne asada, and like any other food, will bring you together. I'm gonna take this hot dog.
All right, let's show everybody how those hot dogs look. Look at that type of crust. We were talking about the crunch before. That's what Maria was looking for. That's what she was talking about.
That's gorgeousness.
That's caramelization to
101.
100 degree, 101.
So I'm doing, if you notice, for any moms out there, one pan situation.
That's really good.
So
I make a lot of dirty dishes in my house when I cook. So
do
this
you
is
wash them?
that's up for debate in my house, I'd say. Up for debate, but this is a good way because you keep the mess to a minimum.
And then the bacon, excuse me, the bacon of the hot dog, it's with the onions now.
All that bacon fat and
All
everything
that
just
beauty.
rendering there. It's beautiful.
So we're gonna do this. We're gonna put,
And essentially, you're looking to caramelize the onions as well.
Yes.
And look at that nice golden color and on the onions as well. That's beautiful.
so
I mean, if you were here right now, the smells that are going on in here, it's transporting us back to the hot dog stand
and then we'll see.
and we'll see you next to the church for
And
me
Navajo
and
for me.
Navajo for her. It tells you how small this world is. With Maria and I were getting to know each other a couple weeks ago. I've got friends in Navajo, and our friend
And we have a,
Fernando is friends, they're childhood friends. So it's really, food connects, right?
oh,
Look at
yes.
that.
Yes.
We're a prime example. All right, so we were talking about using things in your cabinets, using things in your refrigerator. What is a must ingredient in your house? Like what do you have to have there all the time?
Okay, tortillas,
All right,
queso, bagels. I have a 12-year-old kid.
All right.
Come on. Cream cheese, limes and lemons, and a array of salsas.
all right, that's what you need in your
Sí,
house. So
salsa de habanero, salsa. I bring my
sounds
salsa.
like quesadillas, like
Sí, quesadillas, pero salsa, tengo una de habanero, una tetacawi. Tetacawi is a salsa that the Cerro Tetacawi in San Carlos. They have it in Navajo, so I bring,
that's awesome.
sí, chiltepín.
Tell everybody about chiltepín because I've been sending chiltepíns to friends in West Virginia recently.
You
and
want to kill him?
And he's sending up ramps to me, and I've never worked with a ramp before.
Can I have some?
And I'll go get you some. And he sends up dehydrated ramps and fresh ramps. It's phenomenal. It's like a mix between garlic and onion. It's beautiful. But tell people about chiltepín, because that is something that is native to the Sonoran Desert, both in Arizona and Sonora.
Well, chiltepín, it's como decimos en español, chiquito pero picoso. Chiltepín, it's a tiny.
Looks like a BB, right?
Yeah, it's a tiny chile. I have a plant actually. Before you leave, I'm going to show you.
All right.
I have a plant, and it's from green to red. You can dry them and then grab them and just any sopa.
Oof.
With limon, hijuela.
Yeah.
But you can have them green, not mature yet, and you can pickle them. Have you tried that?
That's had them. You see where they're in salt too?
Yes, but I like the vinegar pickle.
Yeah.
See,
I'm gonna get more salad video. I got you. So let's talk a little bit about sourcing of ingredients.
yes.
We've got phenomenal agriculture on both sides of the border. We've got really exciting grains on both sides of the border. We have in here in Tucson, we've got a phenomenal baker here.
Yes.
I know at Barrio Bread,
Mhm.
they're working with a lot of great grains down in Sonora as well.
Yes.
Talk to me about local sourcing of ingredients and how you try to incorporate that into your.
I personally, Boca is como un 80%.
Okay.
That sign, but it's facing the window.
Yep.
It actually promotes every single business I purchase from.
Great.
So it's one of those things that, yes, I am a local restaurant. I personally don't go and eat at chain restaurants because I know what it takes to do this. I always le digo a mi hermana, tengo una hermana más grande,
Okay.
cuando vienen de shopping acá, le digo, ¿a dónde vas a ir a comer? No, ahí no, acá. La regaño. Because
We won't mention names, but
No. promoting a local restaurant, you're promoting Tucson economy, of course. You are giving jobs to people, and you are actually making other businesses like mine succeed. My tortillas, soon enough, I'm gonna open my own tortilla factory. In the same Boca courtyard, I'm opening Sona. Sona is a mixture of Sonora and Arizona. Sona.
I like
That's
it.
where I started and where I ended.
Great play on words.
So it's a nixtamal. I bring the nixtamal from Oaxaca.
Okay.
And I got my molino.
So tell everybody what that is.
Nixtamal is the dry corn, and that you have to bring it back to life, and you actually have to boil it with water and cal. Cal is
Lime.
there you go. Thank you. Whoever said that, thank you. And I'm going to open it. I brought my machine from Hermosillo.
Okay.
My molino from Mexico City. So I'm right now in the process of permits and all that, but hopefully by the end of May, it's going to be completely open. And my other goal is
And that will be production of tortillas,
Yes,
both
for me.
corn and
Just corn.
Okay.
And now I want to do what Don Guerra is doing and supporting Sonoran agriculture, and here in Arizona as well. We are known for our trigo.
Exactly.
It's one of those things that for Sonora, carne asada and trigo. And Don Guerra is doing a justice to that grain. For me, it will be making tortillas de harina. If I close my eyes to go and after my mom picked me up from school to go and buy tortillas de harina, tortillas de maíz, and they call me boy because I always have short hair. I get pissed off, grab the pesos and throw them at them, and
There you
so
go.
that was me.
So you're talking about like different parts of Mexico.
Yes.
So I want people to have a really good understanding when they leave here today about the different flavors. It's just not the flavors of Sonora,
No.
where maybe carne asada and puerco is very popular. But talk to me about other regions. You mentioned Mexico City has a long tradition of culinary fame. But give me examples of other things that you're trying to incorporate into your menus, into your techniques, or even just things that you love.
And that's our fault as Mexicanos. I said it in an interview that Mexico gets recognized from the waist down. Guadalajara, Oaxaca, Puebla, and you go Yucatan, Mérida, and then Sonora gets like nothing. But I love to bring, make cochinita pibil, like cochinita pibil,
Love it.
from but a pibil salsa and stuff from Puebla and all the moles. Trying to just get together what Mexico has to offer. Sadly, and I said proudly, sadly, people think it's Mexican food, it's Mexican food. You will never, ever in 11 years of my career will listen to me to express or tell me what do you do, and I say Mexican cuisine. That is the difference. Mexican cuisine is elegant. Mexican cuisine is simple. Mexican cuisine is colorful, it's fresh, right? It's full of freaking vitamins and all that. But if you know, do you live any part of the United States? Y luego cuando también vas a México, it's
well, different regions of the country have different things to offer. For example, you're in Boston, you think fresh fish, you think cod, you think haddock. You go down south to Charleston, you're going to see a different play on different fishes.
But the thing is, it's funny how people don't think that about Mexican cuisine. They think Mexican food and it's tacos and burritos, nachos,
fried stuff.
Yeah, and believe me, nothing against a good nacho.
Love it.
But it's not.
With one of your great salsas, even better, right?
But it's not Mexican food.
Right, I'm with you. So tell me about some of the other things. Like one of the things we talked about on our Consul General panel last month was we had the Consul General from Tijuana on the line as well, part of that. We were talking about just the phenomenal food scene that we're seeing now in Valle Guadalupe, for example.
Oh, yeah.
And you and I were talking about vineyards before we got on, a couple of minutes before we got on.
Yes.
Talk to me about what you're seeing. Again, that's a part of the country in Mexico that hadn't gotten the culinary respect or notoriety that maybe Mexico City or Guadalajara has. Tell me about what you see exciting going on there.
Get ready. Us Mexicans are doing things right. It might take us a while because the resources, because of the land, because of whatever you want to call it. Pero un vino mexicano. En Hermosillo también hay viñedos, ¿verdad?
Yes.
Sí. Entonces, Valle Guadalupe right now is the hot spot of Mexican food.
I mean, some of the food that I've had over there that, for example, that Chef Plasencia is doing is just phenomenal. We were talking about an experience that we had with our family and friends. I think my cousin Anna is on the line today, joining us from San Diego. Hi, Anna, if you're there. But she's one of the people that first introduced us to Valle Guadalupe. And to go down there and experience the food is phenomenal.
I haven't been.
We'll go.
I haven't been because apparently I need to be here.
Yeah, that happens when you run a restaurant.
Okay, so
So tell us about what's going on here with the tortillas.
We're going to dress it. I just heat up flour and corn tortillas because see.
Just right here on the hot grill.
Yeah, because you need both.
Gotcha.
Because it's a heavy. So you're gonna put, this is an aioli. It's literally mustard, mayo, and ketchup. That's it. So.
Your secret sauce that you're putting on there.
Onions. We're gonna cut the hot dog so you can bite it.
Ooh, look at that. Oh. And you were telling me that you use any type of hot dog, but this one in particular is
a chicken pork.
Chicken pork.
Yes.
But you can use beef, and we talked about using vegetarian options, vegan options, etc.
Here we go. And then instead of doing cebolla, tomate, make a pico de gallo or salsa bandera.
And tell everybody what's a pico de gallo.
Salsa bandera. As Mexicanos, we call it salsa bandera.
Okay.
So it's tomate,
right?
Cebolla, cilantro, lime, garlic, salt, pepper, and a little bit of serrano.
Oof.
Okay.
So the serrano is going to give it a nice little spice.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
And then at the end, we finish with an aioli. And that, my friend, is your Salmon hot dog.
All right.
Okay.
Now, the traditional way is going to be to pick it up, right?
Well, if you want, but
it's a big one.
It's a big one. I can get you a fork.
I think we'll do a fork. Let's try.
Oh, come on.
All right. Now
I have the fork.
If I'm going to be one of your boys in the kitchen, I got to pick it up. So that's what I'm doing.
There you go. I'll hold the plate for you. There you go.
Here we go. Wow. That's phenomenal. Wow.
There you go. I'm going to give you a napkin.
The aioli is phenomenal on top. It has that creaminess to the top.
Oh, yeah.
The crispiness of the hot dog with that caramelization on the bacon.
You have everywhere.
I'm convinced, but I got to clean up.
Yes, yes.
And the same thing actually happens when you're eating that when you're eating that hot dog in Hermosillo and Navajo. And you're like, right?
And then you get a big lump of mayo, mustard, tomato in your foot. I always do. I don't know why.
Me too. It's always on the shoe, isn't it?
Yeah, it's always on the shoe. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So tell me, when you're coming, talk to me about the menu here. Because I want we've got a menu over there that we put up on a display, but just run me.
Somewhere. No,
just
this
run me-
is my
oh, I know.
drink
Oh,
menu.
here we go.
There you go. So,
But tell me what are some of the things here that we can get.
see, this one was my old one. For a while, I actually changed the appetizer.
So you're
I
pointing
had-
at cecina. Tell people what cecina is. 'Cause that's
Cecina-
a really cool Sonoran dish.
I know, but cecina is pretty much beef jerky, a thicker bigger jerky.
And where is it known in? My recollection was in Obregón.
In Navajoa.
In Navajoa.
Well,
Oh, is
people
it?
would say Navajoa, Obregón. I would say Navajoa. But you come in, it's a very simple menu. Everything is a la carte. It's 6-inch tortilla taco. Everything comes with all the salsas to your table. And it's pretty much you order, the waiter or waitress goes to the computer, puts the order. I personally grab the meat, put it on the grill. I have no steam table.
So made to order.
Yes, I don't have steam table. And that's a misconception of some of our customers that, hey, I'm ordering tacos, why is it not? And I'm like, no, it's a restaurant that serves tacos, then specialize in tacos. And that is, once again, the misconception of you're not in a taqueria on the corner, on the side of the road, which I love and I go, but this is a restaurant that makes you want to enjoy bacanoras, tequila, cerveza, and enjoy a couple of tacos. We have from the macho, that is a roasted Anaheim pepper stuffed with melted cheese and steak.
Oof.
Everything comes with cabbage and guacamole, pickled onions on the side. And like I have a lot of vegetarians. I have a cauliflower with the Indian twist. It has
You're talking about the infusions from different parts
yeah,
of the
I
world.
have a cauliflower, it's a grilled cauliflower with a curry cilantro sauce. I have a tofu taco. I have pastor taco. I have a Dan Gibson taco. I don't know if you know who Dan Gibson is.
I don't. Help me out.
No, you don't know?
I don't. Tell me. Help me out. Help me out. Who's Dan?
Dan Gibson is one of my best friends
I gotta meet him, I guess.
that actually, he works for Visit Tucson.
Okay.
And he actually, 11 years ago, he used to write for the weekly, I believe. And he came in and he kind of liked what I was doing and we became friends. And he believes in what I'm doing. And he has helped me tremendously in my career. And I said, thank you. I'm going to name a taco after you.
There you go, Dan. If you're on, there's a big plug
So
for you. A
that's the
big
Dan
thank you.
Gibson. That is a barbacoa style. Barbacoa, birria.
Tell
Mexican.
people what barbacoa and beer are. Because I had it when I first went down to Mexico. My mother-in-law makes it. It's phenomenal.
I don't use goat.
Okay.
Certain people use goat. I use beef.
Okay.
Certain people, well, not certain people. Barbacoa is literally in the ground
Yep.
with banana leaves or tequila, mezcal. I forgot the name. Yeah. So it's a process.
The arms of the.
Yes. There is a chef in Philly doing just barbacoa. She's from Mexico.
I've
She's
heard
an
about it.
immigrant.
Yep, I've heard about it.
And she is a James Beard Award winner. And that alone tells you, holy effing God. She doesn't need to do anything else.
Simple, like we talked about.
And that's what I'm
Yep.
talking about. Like, to me, I have tacos. That's what I do. And I can get fancy. Believe me, I can get my pinky up and we can do this. And I have pulpo asado. It's pulpo that is marinated in guajillo, ancho, limon, mantequilla, grill it.
It's phenomenal. And that's another Sonoran classic that you have.
Because, I mean, Sea de Cortez is right there. And camarones and everything else that the sea has to offer.
So tell me a little bit about, you mentioned the process of a birria, or it's a long process.
It is.
And you're using tougher meats because of that, because of the cooking process to break down it.
Mhm.
Tell me about
I
what
mean-
goes into that, because I don't think people know that when they get a birria taco or they get a taco de cabeza in the morning,
They don't know that it's
they don't know all the preparation.
For
that goes
10
into it.
hours?
Yeah, so talk to people about it.
I mean, tacos de cabeza, tacos de lengua, it does take about 10, 12 hours. You know, it depends how you're cooking it and where you're cooking it. I don't have the luxury of doing that. So I buy a little bit more expensive meats. I buy certain things that is going to help me speed the process for the cooking. Birria y barbacoa, I mean, if you do it like the traditional way, you're looking about 10 hours.
And I remember being at the ranch in outside of Magdalena. My wife's family's from Magdalena Llano area. And they're digging holes in the ranch, and they've got these big tubs that the meat goes into with the marinades that you're talking about. And they go in the ground and you bury it and you put the leaves over it.
It's like cochinita pibil, you put, or the cabrito, like the. So everything in Mexican food takes time. Even a simple corn tortilla takes time, because you have to get the masa hydrate. You have to do a lot of things. Skipping steps the right way will make you get to the end, like back in the day used to do it. So
you see me eyeing that taco for a second.
Yes,
No.
Yes, he wants to eat it.
So let's talk a little bit about just the experience of being in Mexico. When you go down to visit family and you're going to go out, you mentioned just going down to the taco guy at the street. Give some examples of some of the experiences that you've had when you go to Mexico with your family. I mean, I've had tons too. I want people want to hear about you.
I haven't gone because of Corona, of course, but every time I go to Navajo, I go have a hot dog.
Okay, number one.
They just opened a taqueria in front of my parents' house. They do like fresh corn tortillas, and they grill nopal.
People on nopal.
Nopal is a cactus ear. That I'm into it. But my must has to be seafood, and has to be unas tostadas de ceviche de pescado de lobina. Lobina is, somebody can tell me what lobina in English?
Is that the snapper? It's not the snapper.
No.
But it's a fish that comes out of the Sea of Cortez. I know that.
Yes.
Well, it's a white fish.
Yes, and they do callos de lobina y una tostada de lobina. I can go there and eat, and to me it's for breakfast. I do it 11:30 in the morning. And with I don't drink soda.
Chef hours.
Yeah, but I don't drink soda, but I will have a Mexican Coke right there with 2 tostadas, callos de lobina. And my mom is like, the next day, where do you want to go? What do you want to do for breakfast? And I'm like, ceviche. But you went yesterday. No. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to go every day. And at night, I go out with my friends if, or I went to actually kindergarten with these girls, and I still friends. We're 40 years old, and I'm actually the only one here living in Tucson, and we still have that connection. And going to have tacos or a drink or coffee or whatever. But to me, it's a must. And tacos de cabeza on Sunday.
Yeah, tacos de cabeza are just phenomenal. If you haven't tried tacos de cabeza, if you've gone to Sonora.
Tacos de lengua también.
Yep, and tacos de lengua, the tongue tacos.
Yeah, you know what I do at home? At home right now with my wife and son, I grab the lengua, I put it in the Instapot, like slow cooker.
Yeah.
And put it at night. I put it outside because I always make a mess. So I put it outside in the mist.
And it smells pretty strong.
Yeah, it is. So I put it in there, and the next day we have taquitos.
Oof, right?
There you go.
The oof, the Mexican oof.
Your hijos, the gringos.
They love them.
See?
Oh, they love them. They eat everything.
Oh, there you go.
I'm
proud of you. I'm proud of you.
We're cooking a lot in our house.
Okay, perfect.
All right, so one of the things I remember being in the kitchen, and I told you I started washing dishes when I was 14 and kind of worked my way up as a line cook. But I remember, and whether it was you were in the restaurant or you were on a catering off-site, you're never hungry when you're cooking.
No.
And then all of a sudden you've got all this great food, and people are like, oh, don't you want one? And you have your shift drink or whatever you're going to do. And you're like, no, I'm not hungry. And then you get home,
you're
starving, and you're going in the refrigerator and you're finding leftovers. You're finding a bowl of cereal. Do you have that experience?
All the time.
And what are you eating? Like, are you going to find something? Are you going to make something for yourself?
I try nowadays when I'm 40. I'm trying to watch the weight because it's kind of hard.
Yeah, same here.
In the morning I have a good breakfast. I try to skip lunch, which is super hard.
Yeah.
I just pound water like crazy. And at night we do a nice dinner at home. But when I'm working like events or something like that, my guilty pleasure is a ramen.
That's my son's guilty pleasure. He loves
my
ramen.
Guilty pleasure, and
I'm
I'm
gonna chiltepín in there, right?
Chiltepín, limon.
Yep.
Saltines on the side.
Little Maggi.
Saltines on the side, and pepper jack cheese.
Really?
Yeah, you have to cut the pepper jack cheese on top of the saltine, and then take a. Oh yeah.
Wow,
Try it.
I'm gonna try it.
Yeah.
It's on the list tonight when I get home, because I'm gonna get home late tonight. All right, so tell me a little bit about Restaurant 101. I remember growing up in Connecticut, and I worked for a restaurant growing up, like I told you. And the owner of that restaurant, his name was Steve Lynch, always used to say 101, babe. It's all about Restaurant 101, babe.
Oh, yeah.
What goes into running a place like this? How do you get a place like this off the ground? Like, what was the, tell us about it.
Restaurant 101, you have to be nuts to open a restaurant.
Agreed.
You have to say goodbye to your life
Your family.
outside the restaurant. And you have to have a great support system because you are married to the restaurant. Like everything else becomes a
And your
second.
spouses then too.
Yes. And also, I mean, there's no I in team. I can be the face of Boca. I already put my work in. I opened it 11 years ago. I'm nobody if I don't have a good team. I will sink to the floor. But to find that good team, it's out of 10, it's 1. And it's common sense. You know, I'm not those chefs and owners that clean, that they're clean. They're yelled, if you have time to clean, you have time to clean. No, to me, I try to guide them towards common sense, to teach them common sense. Some of them don't have it, but some of them
They don't last.
Yeah, some of them do, but opening a restaurant is from license, from liquor license, food license, permit. You have to call the fire department to approve it because it has to be okay for if God forbid there's an accident, the fire, you have to find fire extinguishers. You have to have.
Find your rental space.
Yes, well.
Or buy your building.
Yeah.
Right, one of the two.
And then you have to pay a permit for the signage. You have to pay, what else? I mean, of course, taxes, employees.
There's that business side
Yes.
as well. So there's a business side and then there's the cooking side.
And to me, I am a restaurateur and I'm a chef. They don't like each other. They hate each other.
Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde,
Yeah,
huh?
pretty much,
Yeah.
because the chef of me wants to buy Kobe beef and make a Kobe beef taco, and the money me is like, are you crazy?
Yeah. Can you
No.
get, what's your food cost on that?
Yeah, so you have to find the balance, and that's why you can make a very good taco, a very elegant taco without breaking your pocket.
Or
And-
charging a price that people aren't gonna wanna pay.
Yeah, and the customers.
Because you could do Kobe beef, but that taco's gonna cost
$20.
$25 or whatever it is.
But, and then the thing that you can do, I've been on the business for 11 years, you can, sense the crowd. Would you not? Or start
Or
doing,
maybe it's a special.
and doing little specials. Every Wednesday now, I do el menú de la chef,
Okay.
and I play with flavors. Everything that I want to do that is not this, I put on a tiny menu, 2 items, and you can come with on the weekend. Right now, I have a mariscada. Literally,
Mariscada is phenomenal.
But-
Tell people what that is though.
but mine, mariscada is just a mixture of mariscos, fresh seafood. Mine is cooked in a tamarind, chiltepin kumquat broth. I have prawns, I have crawfish, I have clams, I have mussels, I have red potatoes and corn.
Wow.
And instead of a tortilla, I'm using a grilled naan.
So that's that Indian infusion
Yeah.
that you love
And
working
just
with.
to buy the naan, like I don't.
I love naan.
Oh, I love it. And just to make it or buy it. And then, okay, what do I have? I have tamarind. I love working with kumquats. Kumquats are a hidden gem on the citrus family. So it's one of those things, and of course, putting my chiltepin on it and just.
I like working with the persimmon too from Sonora because there's so much of it.
Oh, the persimmons?
Persimmons, yes.
Yes.
Excuse me, sorry.
I just became a fan of persimmons.
Yeah.
Like 5 years ago.
My father-in-law got me into it.
Really?
They have a family relative that owns a farm where they.
But
have
what is
that.
it called in Espanol?
I thought that's what it was.
No,
It was in
I
Spanish
don't
too,
know.
but
Okay, so now you guys, people that speak Spanish better
you can
than
chime
me.
in with persimmon.
Lobina and persimmons, how do you say in Spanish?
Yeah.
We have a saying, but I cannot say because it's
Yeah,
a
yeah,
bad word,
yeah.
so no.
I understand. So,
Hey,
I-
Patrick, can I jump in for a second there?
sure.
First, there might be someone who can answer that question, not me, but a couple things real quick. There's some great questions in the chat room, and I can read them if you can't see it. And the second thing I wanted to say real quick, if you didn't notice it, I was cooking with you. It is delicious. I'm
Thank
sure
you.
not as delicious as what is there.
That gave me an excuse to have a bite right now. So while she's talking,
Okay, first question.
Okay, lobina is a white bass, right?
White bass. Okay, done.
Sea bass.
Sea
Sea
bass.
bass. Oh,
Oh, okay.
All
What's
right.
And, maybe
one question?
Marisol, do you mind reading the questions in the chat? I'm not sure if they can see them, and Patrick's reading, which is good.
I'm sorry.
so what about if each the person that write the question make the question by make the question, right? Like Karin, I know you had a question writing. Can you make the question
What?
yourself?
Okay.
Sure. Okay, so 2 questions. And by the way, fantastic job. I feel like Gordon Ramsay has nothing on you guys right now. Okay, Patrick and my. All right, so the 2 questions is what is your favorite cuisine to cook? And is there a chef you admire the most?
That's a tough one.
I know who I would say.
Well, okay, I don't lean towards cuisines much when I cook at home. I have a beautiful pizza oven, a wood fire pizza oven my wife got me for Christmas.
Oh, wow.
We put everything in that oven.
You must have been good.
Oh yeah, I'm a nice wife, okay?
Yeah.
We cook at home very simple. Like I always do like grilled chickens, grilled meat, grilled fish, always have a veggie and a salad. I don't lean towards a certain cuisine, but I can buy the typical ginger, the chiles, so I can pretty much mix and match whatever I
But the
want.
grill is the vehicle.
My grill, I use the grill 90% of the time because I hate cleaning my stove.
Okay, there you go.
I
All
mean,
right, finish.
I'm being honest here.
Inspirational chef.
I would say Jose Andres,
Love him.
because he's a badass and he has a great heart.
He's doing a lot for the community.
I
Like
got
global
I
hunger.
got the chance
his
to meet
initiatives.
him, and I was like, like when my son saw Star Wars for the first time, that's how it was.
You were starstruck.
Yeah. Who else? There's a lot of them nowadays that I personally admire. That broke the barriers of Enrique Olvera,
Mhm.
Daniela Sotoans. People like them is making us. Oh, okay. So the road is already paved. I'm gonna walk it.
Well, this is a really good opportunity to talk about diversity.
Yeah.
So diversity in the kitchen is a lot different than it was 10 years ago,
Yes,
or
it
even
is.
20 years ago when I remember I first started in the kitchen. Tell us about what you're seeing in terms of just diversification.
I'm gonna get a little bit of political because
It's okay.
what I'm seeing more is we as women,
Okay.
we're getting more accepted. I hate the term female chef. I hate it with a passion.
Okay.
Because I said it in I'm not like reminding myself I'm a girl. I'm a chef. I don't know if you have to remind yourself you're a boy every time. So for that particular time, like I don't go into kitchens, oh, here's a female chef. No. So that for me is taking that stigma off of, it was told 11 years ago by a co-chef, a chef in the industry, well, you should go back to your kitchen at home. And I'm like, I was about to punch him, but I can't because I don't want to,
Yeah.
get myself to that level.
Down level. Bring yourself down
Yeah,
level.
so now I am a chef, I'm an owner, I'm a mother, I'm a wife, I'm a boss. So that it's one of those things that you can do. Back in the day, my mom never worked a day in her life because that was what it was given.
Societal norms at that time.
Yes, like my wife is a captain of the fire department here in Tucson. She is one of the 32 females. We have boy jobs. She's breaking that barrier for.
But they're not boy jobs anymore.
Well,
That's
no,
what
yeah,
you're saying.
and that's the
And they're
beauty
not
of it.
female chefs. It's
No, it's a
people working
firefighter.
together.
And when people, it's like, so I call her a firewoman or a fireman. And I'm like, no, she's a fireman. That's it.
Yeah.
And maybe your daughter wants to be a fireman. And just to show that you can do whatever you want to do. And food will break those barriers. Food will,
Well, and
Guide
globalization
you.
of it, right? Because
Yeah.
you think about it, like you talk a lot about your menu. You're using a lot of techniques or a lot of ingredients from India, for example. The diversification in the kitchen, you're seeing people from all over the place working in kitchens.
I didn't go to culinary school. I went to culinary school in my own kitchen. My culinary school are my sous chefs.
On the job training.
Yeah, my culinary school is books. My culinary school is the TV. My culinary school is not being ashamed who I am and asking, hey, how do you do that? Oh, okay, that's
Being
fast.
inquisitive, right?
Yeah, that's fast. Okay, I'm gonna cut myself, but screw it, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
And that's what you have to do in the kitchen per se, in my career.
Gotcha. All right, let's go see if we have any more questions.
It's one more question from Kim Kreka. Do you want to go ahead with your question?
Yeah, thank you. First of all, huge fan. Thank you so much for this. This is wonderful today. And I wondered if you use any ingredients that are wild sourced from the desert.
I do, not in this particular dish, but I do a lot of choya butts. Once I did a choya butt ceviche. I went to the San Javier mission and I bought them, boil them for hours, and they're so meaty. They taste like literally they taste like artichokes. And I did pretty much a ceviche out of that. I use actually a boca now. I have my own garden. I'm fancy like that.
Love gardens. I got one in my backyard.
I'm a very fancy chef apparently, and I go in and I grab the cilantro and stuff, but I use a lot of cactus. That I do. A lot of pitaya. I love prickly pear.
You mentioned the chiltepin, which is off the Sonoran Desert
Yeah,
as well.
but the choya butts, that's was like a kick.
Yeah.
A couple of years ago. And I did actually from some of Don Guerra's grains.
Yeah.
Before he put them in the mill and
Yeah,
stuff.
you toast them.
I actually toast them and boil them and make a little salsa with them.
Well, one of the things I remember picking fresh off the ranch, around the Sonoran River there, is the watercress too, the local watercress. And then you just have with lime on it. And there's just so many ingredients that you can find.
That you cannot find other places, but just going to Mexico, man, is just.
I think now that people are starting to get vaccinated, borders are starting to open up a little bit more. We're going to have another series coming up in another month.
Just relax. I don't know if you notice people are like
Tense.
in a pressure cooker.
Yeah.
That's how I feel now that I opened Boca. Well, I was blessed enough to never close Boca because the community kept me open. The community of Tucson literally kept me open. Like I said, my wife is a firefighter. Used to see fire trucks park in the middle, just come in and pick up food for their station. The people here, and people are like this now getting out. Chill.
Right.
There's enough food for everybody. So
If you order, I will make it.
chill.
There is a comment from Jasmine Sanchez. Do you want to make your comment, Jasmine? Are you there, Jasmine?
Jasmine?
Yes, sure. Sorry. I just love what you said about how your wife is a fireman, because my 13-year-old is always Batman or Batman and not Batgirl. She wants to be Captain America, Spider-Man, and other girls will say, why aren't you Spider-Girl? And I'm always like, no, there is no such thing. And she doesn't want to be Spider-Girl. She wants to be Spider-Man. So I just really appreciate that. I really like that. Thank you.
Anything else in the chat, Marisol?
I just have one question for myself. Is how does the experience in Top Chef has changed you, Maria?
It was gonna come up.
I knew it was coming.
Top Chef. I went to a culinary school named Top Chef. I went and learned from 14 individuals that now I call my family. I love them. I respect them a ton. And Top Chef made me believe in myself. Top Chef made me realize that I'm good. Top Chef made me realize that it's okay to doubt my skills. It's okay to be in front of that huge audience. And I was blessed enough to be invited to the show. And now I get embarrassed every hour and a half. People want to, I'm very open to the people that know me and I joke and stuff, but it's very, very strange to me. Hey, are you Maria? And I'm like, yeah. And I'm like,
Do we know each other?
what's up? Can I take a picture? And I'm like, and I start turning red. My cooks call me the Mickey Mouse of Boca Tacos. Every 15 minutes, they have to send me outside to say hi to the people.
Oh, really?
It's like, hey, boss, it's Mickey Mouse time.
Oh, we gotta go, right? Is that,
Yeah, pretty
we
much.
gotta go. We gotta go.
But no, it's been humbling, and I got to meet, like I told Padma, Tom, and Gail, they're amazing human beings. They're gorgeous, and I want their job because they eat and they don't gain weight.
I can't do that.
When I grow up,
I can't do that.
I
I
want
was
to be
getting
them.
ready.
I want to be them.
Tell me, going back to Boca, what have been some of the biggest challenges? I mean, you mentioned, having a community around you during COVID that has lifted you up and continued. What have been some of the biggest struggles or challenges you faced with that?
Now, I can tell now 2020 is staffing.
Okay.
Staffing is a huge issue, not just for me, for every fellow restaurant.
Small businesses in general, right?
Yeah, small business in general. Sadly, unemployment is paying more than we can. But it's staffing. People with short circuit, like short whatever wires.
Yep.
It's they're like this. That is now. In my whole career as a restaurant owner, is to making it happen. Is to not get my heart broken by my employees if they leave. Is putting my job first before and my employees before my family. And making it work, man. It's just, you have to be a jack of all trades.
Lots of hats, right? You wear lots of different
and
hats.
also when you're a business owner, do not be ashamed of saying, you know what, I want that, I don't have money, would you work with me? In that relationship that you establish with every single vendor, with every single repairman, it creates a sense of community. At the beginning, that was hard.
Sometimes you can barter, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Getting out of the gate.
And that's one of those things that now I'm blessed enough that I've been in business for 11 years and I get the chance to introduce a new restaurant. What do you need? Oh, you need that? Oh, I got that. Dude, can you help this person? But can you give him my price?
Yeah.
And I understand, I will never haggle with, hey, can I buy that? Oh, $50. Oh, I'll give you 30. I need to understand that he's working too.
Right.
And that's actually a Mexican thing to do, to handle. I hate my mother for doing that. I'm like, Mom, no, pay full price. Pero ¿por qué? Me dice mi mamá y me mata.
¿Por qué?
So it's one of those things to break that barrier of everything and make everything, the world as nasty as is.
Sure.
So let's make a sense of community. And I believe if we as human or Tucsonans or Sonoran, if we start making those little communities, it will spread out. I believe so. I hope so. But struggles will be many. I'm not done having struggles. I know, like today, I'm literally short-staffed. The cook called and I'm sick. I'm like, okay, cool. So
I may be chopping vegetables
Yes,
this afternoon,
yes.
which would be very exciting.
yes, indeed.
Patrick,
Yes.
Kim has another question.
Awesome. We love questions. Let's hear it.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of kumquats too. Have a kumquat tree in my backyard. So I'm looking for ideas of how else I can use them. How do you use them?
I personally grab them raw. I have a couple preparations. You can do the typical kumquat marmalade or jam with sugar. I use piloncillo, actually from Sonora.
Oh, yeah.
Piloncillo.
Love it.
But I just actually grab them with the rind and all, because I love eating the rind of the kumquat. Put them in the blender, a little bit chiltepino, jalapeno, canola oil, a little bit of vinegar, any herb and water. Blend it, and that is a beautiful salsa. You can cook them down, or if you have the time, if you want to peel them, be my guest. But you can eat the rind of the kumquat. You can cook them. You can cook even fish in there, just to make a poached sea bass per se.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of but the marmalade, you can do a savory marmalade and a sweet marmalade. So the sweet can have the piloncillo, a little bit of salt to bring that acidity together.
Tell me what the P.L.C is, because not everyone knows what that is.
piloncillo, it's pretty much packed sugar.
Yeah.
So that's it.
It's good though.
Yeah.
So when we're talking about young women coming up in the restaurant industry, any advice? And I know you said, hey, I'm not a female chef, it's Superman, fireman, but young girls out there, my daughter, other women who want to be involved in the restaurant industry, or just want to do something positive, what's some advice you have for them?
Don't be intimidated, and don't stop being afraid. And don't stop getting, always be uncomfortable. Because when you're uncomfortable, you're never gonna stop trying. When you're not afraid, you're like, oh, you're settled. When you're afraid, in a good way, I don't mean peeing your pants, but always not at ease, because that makes you hungrier. That makes you try harder. And don't get big words to intimidate you. At the beginning of my career, I used to get lost in translation a lot. And that was my biggest, like.
But your head's in English and Spanish at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, you know how.
I've got that problem sometimes too.
Hablo en español, te platico en inglés. And at the beginning, I thought that people were gonna like super make fun of me, of my accent or whatever the case. I don't care. I really don't. I speak 2 languages. I might speak half and half both, but it's one of those things that I'm proud of, my accent and everything. But don't feel afraid, don't feel intimidated, and just do what you do.
And it's one more question from Megan McGill. Megan, do you want to make your question?
Hi, Megan.
Hi, actually my question was very similar to what Patrick just asked, about showing young girls they belong in the culinary scene, or really any field in a leadership role from a young age. I'd really like to kind of change that dynamic. And so it was a little bit about what Patrick just said, but any other ideas about how we can all be allies to young girls as they start their career?
It's teaching them how to hold their own weight in whatever they do. They might struggle. I have struggled many ways, but also not be ashamed to, like in my humble position here, I'm not ashamed to ask my dishwasher, have you done this? How do you do it? Ask questions, make them feel in the same plane level field, because if you come barking, they might bite, they might not, but then you set up the ambiance for just to be tense. Yeah. Just chill a little bit, in the sense that everybody wants to be successful, whatever that is on your own book. I mean, to me, success is not being a billionaire. It will be nice, but that's not my definition. My definition of success is to pay it forward, is to write my own book, is to travel at least once a year. That is my definition of success. And don't be intimidated, but, well, I did that by 20. And I'm like, okay, cool. I did it by 40. Everybody,
different trajectory.
But yeah, everybody has their own journey. Yeah. And everybody I mean, we're different. That's the beauty of the human race. But also get people in contact. If you have a daughter or a granddaughter or a cousin or whatever, and if you see your daughter being intimidated or whatever, just call ahead. And like today, a friend of mine called me, and I'm gonna get a little bit on the sad side, called me and said, hey, I have an employee that just came out to her parents and they don't accept her because she's Mexican, Catholic. Can she talk to you? And I'm like, yeah, I would love to help her. And I don't want to cry because I cry a lot. It's like, yeah, I would love to help her, because I wish when I came out 13 years ago, somebody like me was on the other end. And
having that support system.
And yes, because sadly, I love my parents, but Mexico is Mexico. And we are very encased. I love the United States part. I love Tucson. They're so welcoming. They're so relaxed. They're like, oh, she's, blue, red. It doesn't matter. You're a human being. You're a female, whatever you are. It's about respect. And that's, I think, the beauty of Arizona and Sonora. I believe, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, both countries realize they're one.
I think this region for sure feels.
Yeah,
I agree.
it's one, and it's just that little paper.
But the way you make those connections.
Yes.
Is through food.
Yeah,
And,
I do.
and you know, people have different ways of doing it.
Yeah.
But you're showing that connection, that love,
Yeah.
that passion through the food.
It doesn't
Every
matter
day.
if you're gonna be a firefighter. See, I'm telling you, if you're gonna be a dishwasher or you're going to be the trash man, do it with effing pride. That's it. Nobody will tell you that's wrong or that's too little, that's too much. It's you that puts the barriers, you that puts the everything. It's you. It's very easy for me to say because I already 11 years ago, I would be actually crying or not be able to articulate next to you.
Right.
It's the path that got me to be proud of cooking a taco.
Well, you mentioned a couple minutes ago about the experience on Top Chef being a confidence builder.
Yeah.
And saying it's okay to be scared. Or when you're in the kitchen, always being, the line is a really tense place to be. You have to be on your feet all the time.
And it's funny because when they ask me, it's like, so who you have work under? And I'm like, under me?
The table?
The table? No, see, what chef are you work under? And I'm like, nobody? But you're a James Beard semifinalist. And I'm like, yeah. Just, where's your question?
That's what I do.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
And I didn't want to come out as an ass, but I'm like, so you asking me, you're assuming because I'm in this caliber show, I have to work under somebody? No, my path was different. I was left with a restaurant. I had, en español tenemos, y como se dice, hay de dos sopas y la de fideo se acabó. Te quedó un chingas.
Is one more comment from Alina from the Arizona Office of Tourism. And Alina, do you want to go ahead and make your own comment?
Sure. We love you. You are so incredible. We love having you represent Arizona and Tucson. So just thank you for being you. It's awesome. Thanks for your time today too.
Thank you for everybody that joined us. This was fun. I was very nervous because I didn't know what I was expecting. And
We just went with it.
No, it was funny because I'm looking at the restaurant getting full and I'm actually not anxious. I'm about to pull a chair, got, some bacanora and.
Yeah, I'm not nervous either unless you tell me I've got a lot of prep work to do in the kitchen.
No,
I don't know.
We're good. And I just want to say thank you everybody for joining us and getting the craft and respecting the cuisine and just, taking an hour and some of your time. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Robert. We do have our raffle, so let's get that done. We got to say thank you to Chef Mazon again for being here with us today. I thought this was awesome. We can hear people getting ready to come through the door, so we are going to have to get going. But Alex, can you pull the two names for me? And if those two people are still on the line, you are the winner of $25 gift certificate to come and enjoy a meal here with Maria and her team.
All right, so the two names I pulled for the raffle were Jasmine Sanchez and Kim Kreka.
Oh, you guys are on there. Congratulations. Again, I want to thank my firm, Jennings, Strouss, and Salmon, for sponsoring. Thank you for everyone who participated, for the great questions, for our great guests today. This food is phenomenal.
Don't forget to tune in today. Bravo, 8 o'clock, Top Chef.
I'll be there.
Third episode.
Final comments, please.
I'm just going to conclude this because we want Maria to be able to get to that full restaurant. And I can't tell you how inspiring this was, not just the food, which was delicious since I actually cooked it, but also just your inspiring words. We are just so blessed to have you in the state and to have you with us today. I also want to thank Patrick for whatever chopping he may do later today to make up for the other staff, as well as helping to facilitate the conversation. And before we leave, Marisol, I'll give you just a quick highlight of some of the upcoming programs. We hope you'll continue to join us. Marisol?
Yeah, thank you, Maria and Patrick, for this amazing program. And we are excited. I have learned a lot more from you, Maria. And so save the day for the next upcoming Arizona, Mexico town halls. And the next one is going to be Thursday, May 20th. It's about the impact of tourism in Arizona and Sonora. And then another one, the next one is going to be creating and sustaining a robust regional economy. That's going to be June 17th. Please make sure that you save the date for this amazing program as well.
So again, thanks to all of you for being, especially thanks to Chef Maria. Have a wonderful day. Look forward to watching you on Top Chef, and we'll see all of you soon. Take care.